Hello everyone, welcome back to the LTM channel once again. I'm your host Daniel, and this is of course round 2, or episode 2 I should say, of our F1 Debrief series for 2024. Now you've probably noticed Alex isn't with me unfortunately tonight. He has some personal matters, but hopefully he's back next week and it should be good. Because next week we've got a busy week. We've got V8 preview as well, because it's obviously Australian Grand Prix next weekend with the V8. So with that being said, it's just me tonight. I'm currently live on TikTok and live on Twitch. If that's something you're interested in, if you want to be part of these podcasts, then be sure to check out my streaming accounts to be featured in it. I normally stream Monday to Thursdays from 7 p.m. Also got a merch store. Link is down below on the screen here. For TikTok viewers, it's in the link. The link's in the bio. So you're more than welcome to check that out. Any way to support channel, appreciate it. If you do enjoy it, be sure to do that. But anyway, without all those plugs out of the way, let's get into the Grand Prix. So of course, last weekend held round 2 of the Formula 1 World Championship in Saudi Arabia. Now, it was another Red Bull 1-2. It was another Red Bull dominated race, which wasn't really surprising, but it was a little bit more exciting than Bahrain, I must say. But still a bit of a boring start to the year for the F1. But at least we've had 2 races compared to supercars who have only just had the one. But yeah, so overall not too bad. There were a few moments, but there was one major story, which I almost forgot, from the Grand Prix, was the fact that young Ollie Bearman scored points on debut. Young 18-year-old in the Ferrari for the first time ever, finishing ahead of Lewis Hamilton. That is insane. That is incredible in my opinion. And so what happened is Carlos Sainz, he attended Friday practice, and he didn't look 100%. He looked quite unwell. Turned out he had appendicitis, so driving an F1 car, especially a bumpy one, would definitely not help that. And the shout out to Carlos, who not only, he drove an F1 car during those hard times, but he also came back on Sunday, I believe, to watch the race and support the team, which is insane given how he had surgery the day before. But this provided a fantastic opportunity for young Ollie, who is currently racing in F2 with Prema, and he is a reserve driver for Haas. And it's a fantastic opportunity for him, and he actually knocked it out of the park. I was not expecting him to do that well. I knew he was quick, but I didn't think he was going to be that quick. The fact that he finished in the 10 in the Ferrari, yes, it's a Ferrari, so, it's one of the faster cars, but still, it's not an easy feat to jump into a Formula 1 car for the first time ever, in a competitive sort of situation, and also compete in a street circuit. Not an easy feat, for sure. So he did very well with that. And I'm excited to see what he does in the future. Hopefully, we see him in that Ferrari seat again one day. He definitely made Hamilton look old. It makes me wish that even he could have been in the Ferrari in the next year or the year after even. Maybe when Hamilton decides to retire, maybe Ollie can take that seat, see how we go. But with that being said, there's still a lot more to talk about, but we'll do that as we go throughout. So what I'll read the race results, and we'll work our way there. So starting off with P1, no surprise there, Max Verstappen, his 9th, I think, consecutive race win, after having his streak broken in Singapore last year. Another fantastic drive for him. He's on another level. He's in another league. We say this all the time. That kid is just insane. He's not even a kid anymore. But I saw this meme online that's about pro sim racer Max Verstappen has to take time off to compete in his part-time job, which is a Formula One driver or something like that. Which is crazy. Like, he's enjoying life right now, and you can tell. You can tell. And his teammate Sergio Perez, got to say, he did a better job this time around than Bahrain. He's still, 8 seconds behind Max, but he is quite strong around this circuit. Of course, he won here last year when Max started last, who actually finished second last year in it. So, yeah, no, Sergio did well this weekend. He definitely, he is under pressure to keep that seat because we all know the drama from last year regarding that seat itself. But now there's talk that Max might potentially be going to Mercedes, which, creates more of a silly season, basically. I think the whole silly season thing, actually, before we get into the rest of the results here, is, and I do apologise for rambling on, bear with me, the whole silly season thing going on right now is making up for the fact that we had no new drivers this year from last year. So the fact that Red Bull is is under a lot of threat and a lot of issues at the moment, and I'm not going to get into that specifically, but we all know what's going on. The fact that Max could end up being at Mercedes is an interesting thing, which I never thought was going to happen. From him jumping ship from a fantastic, very, very fast team to a previously leading team. It's going to be exciting. I would personally like it just for the spice. The fact that Lewis is going to Ferrari and Max might go Mercedes, and Alonso, who knows, he might even go to Red Bull, which has also been rumoured. So imagine that. That would be crazy. That's equivalent to F1 career mode. Max Verstappen, the GOAT. Welcome. Red Bull is very fast. Yes, they are. They are always very fast. Especially at the moment. So, it'll be interesting to see how that plays out. But, Perez did a better job this time around than he has been in the past. Third place is Charles Leclerc. He actually set the fastest lap, I think, towards the back end there. Hamilton, he did. I definitely agree with you. And I'll get into Hamilton in a minute. So that ties in with what I'm going to say. But Leclerc, he finished third, I think, last time around. Pretty sure he did. Yeah, he did. No, hang on. No, sorry, he finished fourth last time. My mistake. It's about where they expected. Obviously, they want to compete against Red Bull, but I don't think anyone can at the moment. P4 is Oscar Piastri, who did very well this weekend. He out-qualified and out-raced his teammate Lando Norris in that McLaren, which is, a good job in my opinion. You always want to beat your teammate. And they seem satisfied with where they are at the moment, which is great to see. And I'm excited to see, hopefully we can see them a bit further up, challenging the Red Bulls like they did last year a couple times. But still a long season ahead. We've still got 22 races left, so see how it plays out. Fernando Alonso finished fifth. He wasn't as strong as he was last year. Of course, last year we saw him start in the front row. This year, not so much. But decent weekend for him overall. George Russell in P6 after starting 7th. So overall, not a bad weekend for him. He looks happy compared to Lewis, who finished 9th. George seems so much happier in the team than Lewis. And Lewis, in my opinion, based off the interviews I'm looking at, he looks done. He looks like he's ready to leave. And like Max Verstappen, the GOAT, said here on TikTok, he chose a good time to leave, and it looks like he's ready to leave. And it looks like he just wants the year to be done and just move on so he can put red overalls on. Because he hasn't really got, since the rule changes and stuff, new regulations. Adam, how you going, mate? I'm doing good. How are you? Just doing the F1 Debrief, the Saudi Arabian Grand Prix version, which will be available on YouTube, by the way, too. So, good old shout out. Yeah, no, he since the new regs in 22, he has not adjusted with the car, and he hasn't been happy. And Mercedes hasn't, adjusted either from it compared to Red Bull. But George, like, he just looks so much happier. And I reckon, like Alex actually pointed out last week when we did the Bahrain review, George looks like he's potentially, he looks like he's the number one driver for that team, and that's the driver the team's focusing on. And I reckon that could well and truly be the case. Time will tell, but at the moment, yeah, no, Hamilton he's ready to hang up the Mercedes helmet. P10, I'm surprised to say, Nico Hulkenberg, 1 point for Haas. Haas have finally scored a point. And because of that, like, good teamwork was the cause of that. So, Kevin Magnussen, by the way, he did some pretty decent defending between Yuki and Ocon, to hold them up, to give Hulkenberg the better chance at getting that single point, and obviously paid off. But overall, Hulkenberg stayed out of trouble and did well. A lot of other teams, though, did not. So let's get into the rest of the results. P11, we've got Alex Albon. He did okay. He struggled a bit, but however, he did have wing damage from when Kevin Magnussen actually I would cut him off in a way. Like his rear clipped his wing. So pretend this is Alex here, and this is Hulkenberg. Basically, that's what happened. And so Magnussen got a 10 second penalty for that, which is fair enough. But Albon, from that moment, he didn't really have any pace due to the damage. But P11, it's just outside the points. But that, he'll be looking to do better next time around. Speaking of Magnussen, P12, he also, speaking of that, as well as a 10-second penalty there, he also got another 10-second penalty when exceeding track limits, when overtaking Tsunoda, which, by the way, I think was a bit over the top, given how little he exceeded the track there. And Yuki sounded pretty animated about it, and I've sort of I'm not a huge fan of Yuki at the moment, I've got to say. I'll get into all that in a minute, but he was like, track limits! That's what he did. So, anyway. Magnussen ended up getting a 20-second penalty, but, he may not have had the greatest luck this weekend, but he was a fantastic defender and a real team player. So, because of him, Haas have 1 point. Hey, Fibza, thanks for the heart, mate. Let's add your name to the board. So for those watching on YouTube, like I mentioned, this is previously live streamed. For those who watch on TikTok, if you send a gift or you subscribe, and eventually this will this will eventually become Twitch as well, when I have enough followers. Your name will be featured every time you send a gift on the stream, but if you subscribe, however, your name will stay up there for the duration of the subscription. So yeah, if you want to do that, if that tickles your fancy, you're more than welcome to do that. How you going, man? How are you? We're just doing our F1 debrief. So yeah, if that sounds like something you want to do, feel free to check that out when I stream. 13th place, Ocon. The only Alpine to finish this weekend. It's good to see them a bit further up this time around than they were in Bahrain. 14th, speaking of moving up, Logan Sargent. Good recovery from last. Still, nowhere near his teammate. And personally, in my opinion, no hate against Logan. I just don't understand why why he has that seat still. He started last. He hasn't really been that fast in that car. Now, I'm only comparing him to Albon. So, yeah, Albon is way faster than him at the moment, but see where we go. P15 and P16. Now, I've got a lot to say about this. Is RB with Tsunoda in 15th and Ricciardo in 16th. So, if you've been on social media, or at least the RB pages, and Matt and Tommy's, like their P1 podcasts on their socials, Um, there's a lot of hate going on for Daniel Ricciardo, which I really do not like. Now everyone's saying that Ricciardo's washed and stuff like that, like he needs to be replaced. The thing is, like, again, I can't get over how much hate he actually receives lately online. It's ridiculous, and it does make my blood boil, must admit. But people are forgetting that one, the RB is literally probably the slowest car on the grid almost. Ricciardo had a 42-second pit stop, right? And yes, it was under safety car as well. I must point that out. But it's not Ricciardo's fault that, or at least not completely his fault that he finished where he finished. That car looks terrible to drive. And similar to last year, it was awful. And people were comparing him to Tsunoda. Tsunoda started 9th, which is good, yeah? But he finished 15th. He went from here to here. And that is not a good look. Yes, he finished ahead of Ricciardo, but still, they're both as good as each other at the moment. With Yuki being a bit more immature when he was in Bahrain. But it's just, I feel like Ricciardo is receiving a lot of hate unnecessarily. And I think it's wrong. I think everyone should just sit back and just have a look at the RB car itself and just realise how much of a piece of a crap car it is. Because, yeah, it's a real shame to see. Plus, Ricciardo had a car issue all weekend, pretty much, which I don't know if they couldn't sort out till after the race. I could be wrong. But I feel like, the social hate has to die down a lot. The F1 fan base can be a bit toxic at times, unfortunately. And this is just another example of it. But I'm going to put that to the side for now. Let's move on to Valtteri Bottas, who had another terrible weekend. At least he had a quicker pit stop this time around. About 50 seconds quicker than he did in Bahrain. But unfortunately, it's those cars, they're not quick either, unfortunately. And with Zhou Guanyu finishing 18th, they were nowhere this weekend again. Max Verstappen, the GOAT. I hope McLaren is competitive next weekend. Yeah, I hope so too. I'm hoping they have a great result in Australia. That'll be really cool. Because last year, was good with their results. They got lucky with the red flags. But this time around, what I'm excited for Australia is the fact that they're going to be good on pace. Whereas last year, they started the year terribly. So I reckon there's a chance that Oscar can get a podium for sure. I would love to see that for sure. And I think he can do it on pace alone, instead of waiting on red flags to do it. So I'm excited. I'm very excited for that. In terms of Kick Sauber, yeah, that's what they're called. Kick Sauber, Kick Steak, Sauber, whatever they're called. The green car. They've been really nowhere. I think they won't be anywhere until Audi come along, and who knows, even they might not be anywhere. But I hope Audi brings the team back up. But see how we go. And moving on to the last two, who were actually DNFs. So we've got Gasly, who retired due to a gearbox issue. He actually lost sixth gear on the formation lap. So unfortunately his day was done very, very early. And then on lap 6, Lance Stroll crashed at turn 1. He made a rookie mistake, which brought out the one and only safety car of the weekend. Now it's not good enough, in my opinion, for Lance. It's a rookie mistake for a veteran. He's a veteran at this point. And that's just not on, unfortunately. But as you can tell, I'm not really a massive Stroll fan. He was actually pretty aggressive on the radio as well, which makes me not like him more. But that's just me personally. So that's it for the Saudi Arabian Grand Prix in terms of race results. It does definitely look very hard to pass this year, I got to say, yes. it also is harder when Max Verstappen is 26 seconds down the road. That's also another thing. And also, Max was saying his tires were getting cold towards the end there when he had to actually pass the back markers, which is interesting. All right, let's get into the the drivers' standings after round 2. So we've got Verstappen leading the way with 51 points, with Perez behind. Then we've got Leclerc, Russell, Piastri, Sainz, who drops down after missing this weekend. And then we've got Alonso, Norris, Hamilton, and Ollie Bearman in the 10, which is incredible, given how it was his first Grand Prix, and he's already 10th in the standings. Now, the thing is, what I'm excited about that, what was the question you're talking about though, Max? Sorry, I missed that. Yeah, no, the fact that he's in P10 is amazing, because the thing is, as the year progresses, he won't be 10th, right? He will be probably, I'm going to say, he'll finish 17th or 16th after only doing one race, which is amazing. But we'll see how we go. And then we've got Hulkenberg, Stroll with the last points finisher for the championship standings. Then we've got Albon, Guan Yu, Magnussen, Ricciardo, Ocon, Tsunoda, Sargent, Bottas, and in 21st position, Pierre Gasly. Oh, yeah, okay, right. The Lance Stroll thing. Yeah. It was a stupid question, but just, I don't... Stroll did get pretty... It was pretty wedged in there, that's for sure. You could try taking it back, but you have to take the barrier with you. It was a bit of a dumb moment, for sure. But yeah, that was the driver standing. Let's get into the teams. We've got Red Bull leading the way again with 87 points. Then we've got Ferrari in second place. Then we've got McLaren, Mercedes, and then Aston in the top 5. And then we've got Haas, who's moves up after scoring 1 point. And then we've got Williams, Kick, RB, and Alpine last, as only one car finished. So overall, it was a much better weekend than Bahrain, but still, we're all hungry for some more action. There were some good battles, but still Red Bull won too. I wish Ferrari would be more up there, but we'll see how we go as the year progresses. Yeah, he did. He did struggle with passing Lewis. He even actually exceeded the track limit to turn 1. But it was, he did the right thing to give that position back. But he was satisfied where he was. Obviously, they want to be faster. Norris, I think he struggled a bit this weekend compared to Oscar. We'll see how it go. But I'm excited, very excited for Melbourne next weekend for the Australian Grand Prix. Like you said before, I'm excited to see how the McLarens do there, given how they did well last year in terms of results. But this year, it will be all about pace. So I'm excited to see how they perform. But I'm going to leave it here in terms of the F1 debrief. For those watching on the live stream, stick around. I will be live streaming my V8 Supercars 3 on the PS2. Oh yeah, Lewis is fantastic still. He's a legend. That car, it's like Shane Van Gisbergen last year with the Gen 3 car. Like, he does well. It's just the car isn't settling for him. Like, he doesn't look satisfied in that car. So I'm excited to see what he can do with Ferrari. I reckon he can do very, very well, for sure. I'm excited, so excited being a Ferrari fan. Anyway, that's it for the F1 debrief. If you guys are watching on YouTube and you want to be part of it, like Max Verstappen the GOAT, or Adam Bennett, or Thick Jimothy, or User Fizba, then be sure to check out TikTok and Twitch, and Sim Racer, hey buddy. Be sure to check out on Twitch and TikTok. I stream on Monday to Thursday, 7 p.m. All the links are in the description and bio and all that stuff. If you want to check out the merch as well, we release new stuff. Be sure to check that out as well. And like I said, for those sticking around on the stream, don't go anywhere. We'll be playing some V8s in a minute. If you're listening on Spotify, be sure to give it a 5-star rating and follow. It means a lot. It helps support the channel even more. And stay tuned for next week, where we've got our V8 Melbourne preview. And I'll be doing an IndyCar Motorsport report coming this week at some point when I get around to it. I agree, Ollie. I agree, Max. Regarding Ollie, it's exciting for sure. Yeah, let's wrap this up. Take it easy, everyone, and stay tuned. And I'll see you in the next one. Bye for now.